Hello, I am Max from Test Drive Blogs, and today, let's have a look at this 1996 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Besides the engine, as we'll talk about later in this video, this Jeep is very loaded, since of course it does have the limited trim, although not quite up to the level of the 5.9 limited from 1998. And of course I have to give a big shout out to Charlie's Pre-Owned Auto Sales here in Arnold, Missouri for allowing me to film it. You can check out the rest of his inventory in the description below. There's nothing too crazy about the key on this thing. You do have a fob that has a lock and unlock button, as well as a panic button. This Jeep features a forest green exterior with the gold trim, black door handles, with a black leather interior. The driver's seat is fully powered. Backrest control, your up and down here, and you have lumbar support up here. As I said, this one is pretty loaded, so you do have the memory seats here on the door, power windows, power locks, and your power mirrors up above. Manual lock and door handle up in front, and this one has the Infinity Gold audio system, as you can see from the speaker down there. This Jeep is actually in really good condition for its age. It only has about 120,000 miles on it. And so let's take the key. And let's fire it up. Sounds pretty good. It has the 4-liter inline 6. And so we'll shut the door. And check out the rest of the interior. Putting down the driver's side automatic window. So the Limited was the highest end trim for the Grand Cherokee back in 1996. Came with just about every option, as you can tell around the interior here. So, to get started, on the left side of the steering wheel here, you do have your headlight controls, which you have an automatic mode, gauge dimmer, as well as your fog lights. Wipers on your turn signal stalk here, of course tilt steering wheel, cruise control on the steering wheel itself. It has a nice 3-spoke design. The gauge is a fuel gauge, battery voltage gauge, tachometer, speedometer, oil pressure, and your temperature on the right. To the right steering wheel over here, you have your heated seat controls, right there, rear windshield wiper, overdrive off, and your rear defrost. Up top you do have the nice Infinity stereo system. It's simple to operate. Of course you have your little joystick to control where the audio comes out of. And it's got a CD player and whatnot. Pretty simple. Some vents down below that. And your climate control down below that. Just simple to operate. Does have a screen. Does have an auto mode as well. AC and recirculation, and your temperature over here. And down below in front of the shifter you have a bit of an information center that sadly did not work on this Grand Cherokee. Basically what it showed was if you had doors ajar and the time of day and the date and everything like that, as well as maintenance reminders. It's kind of a neat little system, but they seem to go out pretty often. Apparently it didn't last very long on these. Power outlet and cigarette lighter down below that. We have a 4-speed automatic transmission with overdrive, as I mentioned, with the Quadra-Track 4-wheel drive system here. It's pretty simple to operate. You just pull up on this, and you can have 4-wheel drive full-time, neutral, or 4-wheel drive low. Cup holders, and your emergency brake here in the middle. Nice center console with CD storage and change storage. And then up top you do have an automatically dimming rearview mirror, and your trip computer above that. As you can tell, you have US and metric, as well as a bunch of different little information things here. Gas mileage, current mileage, distance still empty, elapsed time since the car's been on, and back to the temperature. And then some lights, and your power sunroof control. You have a garage link on the visor up here, as well as a mirror with lights, and you also have the extender over there. And so we'll shut it off, and we'll check out the outside. The first generation of the Jeep Grand Cherokee, otherwise known as the ZJ platform, was introduced for the 1993 model year and went to 1998. In that time it had very few changes to the outside or the inside, and other than the 1998 only 5.9 Limited, it kept the same engine options. Although the Grand Cherokee was slightly updated for 1996 with new bumpers and a somewhat redesigned interior. As I mentioned, the Limited trim was the highest trim you could get in the Grand Cherokee in 1996, and you could get it with either the 4-liter inline 6 like this one has, or a 5.2-liter V8. And as I said, it came with pretty much every option you could get. And so on the outside you got body colored bumpers as well as the side cladding, the gold trim which was normally chrome or silver, as well as a sunroof up top, and a few other things like heated mirrors and stuff like that. The exterior styling of the ZJ Grand Cherokee was obviously very boxy, with your boxy headlights up front, windows, as well as the entire shape of the vehicle was pretty boxy itself. But even with that, it still has a very distinctive look, and you can definitely tell it's one whenever it comes down the road. In normal Jeep tradition, you do get a 7-slotted grille up front, with fog lights in the bumper down below. The wheels are a pretty cool design with gold accenting, and they run on 225 70R16 tires, which was exclusive to the Limited. And to finish off the exterior, there is a roof rack up top and a tow hitch on the back. One of the most interesting quirks that the Grand Cherokee has is the fact that the headlights, if you turn them off after turning the key off, they will stay on for a certain amount of time, probably like 30 seconds or so. I guess as a way to let you see if you need to see to get in the house or wherever you are, and then they just shut off on their own. Since of course this was before everybody had flashlights on their phones. And so open the hood. Does have springs to hold it up. In 1996, due to OBD2 restrictions, the 4.0 liter inline 6 that this Grand Cherokee has was reduced to 185 horsepower from 190 from the years prior. It still had a decent amount of torque at around 220, and really it wasn't too far off of the 5.2 liter V8 you could also get, which only had about 220 horsepower. As I mentioned before, the only transmission option was a 4-speed automatic, and of course being limited, it does have the full-time 4-wheel drive system. And so let's check out the passenger side. Nothing too crazy over here. You have a glove box down below. Everything's finished in this nice fake wood applique or whatever. It does say Jeep and SRS airbags, so this does have dual airbags. Ashtray down there. And you do have a full powered seat over here as well. And let's check out the back seat. Nothing all too crazy back here either. Pretty small back doors. You do have pockets in the backs of the front seats. Seats are pretty nice back here as well. You do have a 60-40 split bench. And with the front seat backwards pretty far, I do still have some space for my knees, not too much. It is also leaned back pretty far. You got some lights up top. Couplers in the back of this center console. And that's really about it. Coat hooks and whatnot up on the sides. And back here you can open the hatch one of two different ways. You have a little switch right here, then does the window. You use two hands to do it. But you just hit a button down there and you pull up, and it opens just the window. And then go ahead and close that. Or you can open the entire back by just pulling here. Like the exterior Cherokees of the same age, you do have your spare tire in the back here to save space under the vehicle, so you have more ground clearance in the back here. And a decent amount of space other than that. You get a few nuts on either side. You have a privacy protector that goes over the entire thing. It's not half bad. And so thank you all so much for watching this video of the 1996 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Be sure to check out Charlie's info in the description below. And I'm out of here. See ya.